Okay, folks, we'll go ahead and get started. Just a couple of quick housekeeping and some introductions before we get started today. My name is Eric Range. I'm the product manager here at Element 451. Today is actually my 1-month anniversary of being back on the Element team. And I'm super excited that on that anniversary, I get to do this particular webinar, introduce you to a great new feature we have that will really empower you to do a lot more great things with Element. Alongside me here today is Anna David. She's a senior customer success manager, and she's also our community engagement manager. So you'll see a lot more of Anna and I over the course of the fall and some other Element folks as we gear up and do a more regular cadence of these webinars, showing you new stuff we've got coming, and as well as how to leverage features, best practices, pro tips, all that sort of thing. So Anna's going to be helping me out today, monitoring Q&A, keeping me honest on that side. So thanks a lot to her. And with that, we'll jump right in. This is my first webinar, and we are here to talk about the Bolt People Profiles, which is now available in beta. This is a big step forward for Element in the way that you're going to view information on the people profile. So we're really happy to be able to share this information with you. Just real quickly, whenever we release a big feature enhancement, or frankly, even minor feature enhancements, it's always great to focus in on why we do what we do and what the product philosophy is. So we've got 4 foundational elements of our product. We want to eliminate the time it takes you to do something. We want to help our users do more. We want to eliminate friction as you're doing it. So what are those processes that you do all the time? How can we make that better for you? Hide complexity and simplify things, eliminate decisions where we can, and of course, be best in breed, be the best enrollment CRM and student engagement platform we can be. Focusing on personalization, friendly interfaces, user-focused, both on you as our users of Element and on the students that we interact with. Anticipate and customize your needs, as well as increase engagement and facilitate communication. And that communication, again, can be with the students and the prospects we talk to every day or across teams. We want to leverage intelligence. How can we use data to help you take those actions? Automate where we can, but where we can't, we want to expose insights and facilitate data discovery so you can make those decisions and the people behind them can make the decisions in a great way. We want to anticipate your actions and enrich those interactions with our intelligence. And finally, connectivity. We're not a walled garden. We don't want to hoard your data the way some other platforms do. So we want to integrate with everything, make the data available to you, and be open, because we know you have SISs and other systems that you want to connect Element to. The solution for this is the Bolt UI. And this is Element's new design system. If you were at the Engage Summit last month, or you watched the videos or the live stream, you heard a little bit about this. It's an ambitious new step for us at Element, but we're really excited. And all of you have experienced design systems before, right? If you're a Google user, you've seen the Google design system. So when you're in Gmail or Google Drive or YouTube or any Google product, you can quickly identify it's a Google product, and it's consistent throughout those experiences. So as they roll out new features or whole new products, you can quickly adapt and understand what's going on, and it feels really intuitive. Bolt UI is exactly that for Element. We're looking to be able to drive consistency across the platform. So as we release new features, you can quickly adopt them and get them in as part of your workflow. And the good news is Bolt UI is here today. You've probably already experienced it, even if you haven't turned on the Bolt profiles yet. We used it in the new Conversations update that released a couple of months ago. So this is the Boltification, if you will, of Element and of the Conversations module. And thanks to your feedback, we're making some great improvements to the Conversations module as well. But the most important screen in a CRM, of course, is the person profile, right? It's the constituent for which we are trying to manage that relationship. So it really made a lot of sense for us to turn our attention to the people profiles as our next big step in the Bolt UI. The Bolt profiles have a couple of key areas Towards the top, you'll have a header where you can surface really important information, customize that information for your users while maintaining some of the look and feel of the legacy profile. So names and the monograms and that sort of thing will remain consistent, but we're surfacing a lot of great information there. Below that, we have two flexible zones where you can show your users exactly the information that they need to see. And those are the sidebar, which can be pinned to the left or the right in the screenshot here, and the main kind of card display area as well. We focused on a couple of key features when developing the people profiles in particular, and that was they should be easy to edit, and we should be able to get in and make changes quickly. This is a sidebar. You can see someone's in here editing the preferred name, and I can do this right in line. There are no 6 menus deep to get to editing this information, no pencil icons, nothing like that. I can click into the field, make the adjustment, and as soon as I click out of the field or hit enter, that data is updated and ready to go. We should facilitate better workflows. Workflow with a little w, right? Not our workflows module, but allow you to do few things better as you're surfacing different information to folks. So the great thing about the Bolt profiles is you'll actually be able to take something like the applications card, which you can see here in the middle, and let's say once that student is an applicant and they have the applicant label assigned, I can bring that application data way up on the Bolt profile and make that the focus. Once they're admitted, maybe I want that information to sync a little lower, and I want to bring up event information, because the most important thing to me right now is, are they getting registered for those yield events, those admitted student open houses, or what have you? That leads to context. We want to be able to provide that information in a meaningful way. So you can configure these cards however you like, using a great drag and drop editor for the administrators to set up the templates. You can change the width to make the cards more or less prominent. You can collapse them down so they're just the title if you just want quick access, almost like a quick access menu to more information for that particular module. The other place where we provide context is this idea of the side tray. And you'll see this as we go into the demo, where this particular side tray in this screenshot is the tasks side tray. So I've got the tasks card. I can take some actions on the task card. Where I need to get more information, I can bring myself into the task side tray, and this slides out from the right and allows you to edit, take actions on this. But you'll notice Jessica's profile is still in the background. I haven't gone anywhere. I haven't had to go to the task manager. I haven't had to load a whole nother screen or a web page. Jessica's still there because Jessica is what I'm concerned about. I'm not necessarily concerned wholly about tasks. I might have a relevant task for her, but I want to really focus in on Jessica. Once I'm done, I can click out and I'm right back to Jessica. Goes without saying, another key feature was responsiveness. In this day and age, obviously, things need to be responsive because we're not sure what sort of device you may be accessing this on. So whether you're on a desktop with a full monitor or a laptop or a tablet or even your phone, you can access this information and it's all dynamic and responsive to that device. So they're available today. Quick highlights again, we've got 30 plus cards, inline editing, customizable views. For those of you who are the captains and the administrators, this next one may be a blessing, it may be a curse, but you can have unlimited profile types, different templates for different things. So if you want to get very granular, you can. Obviously, as we start out, our recommendation is you create some broad buckets, but as the cycle goes on and you get more comfortable with this, you can create as many of these profile types as you want to really surface important information for different teams or different student types. And it's available now. You guys can go in and turn this feature on at the user level right now and toggle it on and off as we go. So with that, we can jump in to a little bit of a demo. And I don't know if there are any questions yet. I'll probably get to some of them with the demo, but if there's anything pressing, we can answer it.
Yeah, it's topical. We have a question from Dan at Texas A&M. Is the switch to Bolt UI universal or to our instance, or can each user elect to toggle it on or off?
Great question. The answer right now is that permission is at the user level. Users can individually toggle that on and off during the beta period. Obviously, when we go fully live with this, that toggle will go away and it'll be released across all clients. So if you're a captain or administrator and you want to say, hey guys, let's not do that. Let me get some configuration done first and then tell all your folks to turn it on. You can do that. But right now that toggle is at the individual user level. So as a captain or administrator, you can turn it on and off, play around with it for yourself, and you're not impacting the work that maybe your frontline staff is doing. So that's a great question.
That's it for now.
Great. All right, so we'll jump right in. So this is the new profile. What we're going to do is we're going to take a tour of the profiles, what most of your users will see, and then we'll get into some of the configuration and customization pieces in the back end. So here is a student, Tommy Testerson here. We've configured him to have this profile type. This is our default student profile type that we've delivered to all users. So if you've done nothing and your users turn on the Bolt profiles and they pull up a student record, this is the profile that they will see. It's one of the system delivered profiles. So starting at the top, looking at each of these areas, we've got that great information that I talked about earlier. We've got Tommy's name. Below Tommy's name and monogram here, we have what we call metadata. These data points are all 100% customizable. You can have none, you can have one. As I was doing testing, you can have as many as 168 if that's what you want to do. Load's really slow, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you have 7 to 10 really important pieces of information that you want to bubble up to your recruit or your data processing team or whoever is using this particular profile, you can do that. So on this particular one, we've bubbled up student type, the campus, intended degree. I can see what these are just by hovering over them, intended term, major, the home address, city, and then their gender pronouns. Again, you can pick and choose virtually any person field in Element, including calculated fields, if that's what you want to do to display here. Next, you can configure on the right here, customizable calls to action. So we've opted for one that pulls up the conversations menu. So if I click conversations here, I get one of these contextual trays that slides out from the side and I can see all of Tommy's conversations. If I close this or click out, I'm right back to Tommy. There are a couple of other menus you can add or hide, like the settings menu or the deduplication menu if you like. And the last piece, which will obviously look very familiar, is our labels area, where you can either show or hide these configurably, but my guess is most of you will want to continue to show the labels to your users. So that's the header. And again, a lot of this really customizable from the metadata to the calls to action and other information there. The next area is one of two of our kind of flexible zones, we're calling them. The first is the sidebar. So here you have the ability to toggle on and off to show in the configurations. You can optionally show the assignee for this record, the territory this person belongs to. And if you toggle both of these off, this kind of system card kind of drops away. Below that, you've got the ability to configure your own field groups. So these are two that we've configured, delivered on this profile. One is a general field group, and this is intended term, intended major, that sort of thing for a student. And again, these are all editable right here. I can jump in and let's say he calls up and he says, no, I'm going to be an online student now. My campus is going to be Element Web. I haven't refreshed, I haven't gone away, and this metadata has automatically updated. So it's as easy as that to be able to edit right in line. For fields that require typing, like emails or cell phones, we've got this other group here, contact information, where we've added that information. We can either use this to make the phone call, or I can edit the information. For more complex field groups like home address, if I click in here to edit it, I do get the slide out tray, because there are lots of pieces, right, to an address field. But again, really quickly and really easy to edit that information right from with the sidebar. And again, you can do as many field groups as you like, add as many fields as you like, whatever makes the most sense for your users. Like metadata, I would say, as a rule of thumb, less is more. You don't want to dump the whole profile on the left-hand side there or on the right-hand side, but really that really important information. And the last thing you can optionally show or hide here is this more data button. And if I click on this, it slides out one of these context trays. And this will look familiar. It's a lot of the information from the legacy profiles, and I can access basically all of that information the same way I would from the cards. So this is a great way to get access to that deep level of detail should you need to find some less predominant piece of data that you're looking for. And that's the sidebar. And the last area that we've got is the main data display area. And this by far is the star of the show, and where you can get really down to brass tacks to do customizations. So here we've got 30 plus, I think we're up to 34 or 35 different cards, many of them equated to different modules in different areas within Element. And you can configure these and put them in any order you like. You can optionally show or hide the search feature. You can also bundle these cards in card groups. So here, when you have more than one card group, you can see by default, I display all the cards. So if I scroll down here, this is a all things to all people profile we've set up here. So I've got basically all 30 some cards laid out all together here. As a user, I can come in and say, hey, I want to see those application data cards. So I can click on that, and now I'm surfacing just that information. So this is another, card groups is another good way of letting your users decide what's most relevant for them. We talked about one concept would be to have many different profiles configured on the back end, but leveraging card groups could be another way that you could allow your users to pick and choose what they want to see. And of course, I can go back to another group or all cards. The cards themselves come in a couple of varieties: a single width, like you see here with notes, a double width, like you see here with tasks, and there's also a full width version. Some of those wider versions give you additional information and additional context, and we'll show you a little bit about that in a minute. But every card has a couple of basic components. One is this call out feature, and this is what calls in your side card. So this upward arrow next to the title of the card here, if I click on, that's what impacts the sidecar coming in, and I can take whatever actions I want. I can complete this task. I can add a new task. If I add a new task, I get another card here sliding in, and as I move out, I can quickly navigate back to Tommy. So nearly every card has one of these. There are a couple of exceptions, but you'll be able to draw that in. The other place, many cards in the upper right have an add record feature. So this would be to quickly add a task or add a note, right? I can, any card that has one of these plus signs, I can quickly access that. So that's the cards in a nutshell, but let me show you some of the different varieties of cards so you can see what's going on there. So I'm actually going to leverage a little trick here. So I can do this. I'm actually going to add a label to Tommy's profile, and this card view label, actually, I have another profile template set up with anyone that has this card view label shows me a different format of this. So if I refresh here for Tommy, I get a totally different view. And all I did was add a label to Tommy's piece. So here you can see the single card widths and what they are: compact, easy to show information. And I think the activity card here is a great one to look at how cards may change if you want to make them bigger. So here, if I look at the double wide, I get the same information as the single wide activity card, but it's a little easier to read. It's a little broader. And because it's bigger, it's going to draw my eye to it. So like drawing the box around the featured appetizer at Chili's, we're going to draw our users' eyes to it and make that more prominent than just if it was one of many single cards. If I go to the triple card width of activities, I get to add this filter set on the left-hand side. So I can look at only event activities or what have you. We'll be making some additional updates and changes to some of these cards on exactly what they display. But for the most part, many of the cards have these three states. For something like events, you get a lot more information on the 3-card version. I can filter past and upcoming. I can bring the slide view out. I can go to the events module. Events hasn't been bultified yet. So when I hit view events, it will actually take me to the events module. I won't get an additional slide out tray. So those are the cards and the flexibility of those cards at this point. Again, the features are pretty great where you can interact with all of these things dynamically. So here's like a relationship card. And I can actually pull up Mom Testerson here, and I can pull up her whole profile right within a side tray from Tommy's profile. And if you look at this, the first thing you'll notice is that the top here, this metadata doesn't look like the metadata on a student profile. And the reason is, and I'll show you a full profile for a family member in a second, is we've adjusted the family profile to be different. So now I'm seeing Mom, who's a family profile type, I'm seeing her piece right in here. If I have tasks, I can check them off right in here. I can look at other relationships that they have. It is possible to get into an infinite loop here by opening Tommy and opening Mom and opening Tommy, but you can always get yourself right back to Tommy, which is what we want to do. So that's the overview of the student profile. The one other thing I'll show you is just, again, this dynamic nature of the profiles is here. He's currently in the Florida territory. If I update Tommy to the international territory and I refresh my screen here, you'll see that this doesn't make exactly perfect sense given he's a domestic student, but you can see we've swapped out some of the metadata fields. As an international recruiter, I want to know where the student's coming from, what visa that they might be coming in on. And we've added a international kind of side field grouping here with all that important pertinent data. So you can see where this is going as far as customizations based on, now we did this driven on a territory. You could also say if they don't live in the United States, use this. So there's a lot of flexibility there. We also have flexibility to set this up, as I alluded to before when we were talking about Mom Testerson, is different views for different profile types. So you can see here on the left, this is a family profile type. So if I come to the card or the group view, fewer card groups, really just a general, and kind of the system stuff is all her identities and things like that. But, you know, I'm not concerned about applications. They're not going to have applications. They're not going to have athletics. There's all these things that family profiles won't have that in legacy profiles we're bubbling up a single experience for everybody. Similarly, we've got a profile here configured for agents, which is very similar to the family profiles. We also have one delivered for influencers. So however you have your particular instance configured, and if you're leveraging any of those profile types, there's one for you there. Again, really flexible, totally customizable, and now you can show and hide relevant data based on that. So that's a little bit of a tour of what some of the profiles might look like. Before I jump into the configuration end of things, Anna, do we have any questions that need answers?
Yes, and I think you are heading right that way. So one of them is, can we create a custom card with fields we select specifically to better organize data fields from the additional info area? So custom card with custom fields.
Yeah, so you could accomplish some of that in a field group here on the left-hand side. You can use your custom fields and delivered fields together there. There is a custom field card, which essentially just pulls in all of your custom fields, really just a menu trigger for this. That said, that is a future feature we are looking at where you might be able to do some customization within the cards themselves. Right now, that's not possible, and I don't anticipate that being something that will come with full release, but it is something we've talked about already internally.
Thank you. And one other request we have to show how to customize the bar under the student's name, so the metadata. And yeah, I think you're heading that way. All right, that's all we had.
Okay, so now let's look in as a captain or as an administrator, what you would be doing to configure these cards. So you can come up to your avatar here in the upper right-hand corner and go to settings, profile templates, beta. You'll also, this is the call out, which I should have probably mentioned earlier. You'll also see in the menu there, the toggle to enable both profiles. And again, you can turn that on and off at the user level. So if I go into profile templates, and I'm actually going to back up here and open this tab, you'll come to this screen here, and you'll see two groups of profile templates here. First, you'll see your custom people templates, and below you'll see the system templates. So we've built out on the system templates, we've built out ones for each of the profile types, as well as a default, which has no filtering criteria on it. So no matter what happens, there's always a profile to display. Up top here, you'll see your custom ones that you've built. You can use ours as a starting point. So if I wanted to start from scratch, I could hit create template here, and I get a blank slate here to create and modify my header, my sidebar, set things up. But I think most of you may want to start with some foundation. So let's go ahead and take this student profile. We'll come to the three dots here. We'll duplicate it. And you'll see that we've moved this up to custom with the name copy of, and it's currently inactive. One quick piece of how we determine what profile to show is one, filters, which we'll look at in a minute. But the other piece is the order of precedence. So we start at the top of this list and we work our way down through the custom people templates. Because for instance, the international one, their profile type is student, but we also said, and if their territory is international, do this. So that was higher on the precedence order. So as we checked, are they a card layout? Nope. Are they international? Yes. Okay, then that's the one we've shown. If not, we keep going until we find a match, and it's the first match is the one we display. So that's a really important concept as you're building these, and you can use this little handlebar here and drag and drop those so you can put things that you want at the top of the order towards the top. So here we'll go ahead and come in and edit this one. I can change the name, I can set it to active, I can update the description, and here's where I can get into the show when filters. This we copied over, so it's already got profile type of student. I can come in here and you can see on the person record, I can use labels, territory, state, country, profile type, or visibility groups. Those are the pieces that we have available for you to filter on today. To build these, very similar to Segment Builder anywhere else, I can say, hey, I want this territory to be in, and I can say Florida or Indiana, and go ahead and set that up. These are all done on the individual profile level. Once I've configured my show when pieces, and I'm actually going to delete this so Tommy will qualify here, I can move into the header. These are the toggles I was talking about earlier. We can show or hide labels, show the profile type in the header. This is similar to the old capsule that showed student or agent or what have you. We'll turn that on for this. We'll turn on the duplicate menu. Background image, we've got these 4 background images delivered today. They are the only ones you can use right now, but just to give a little visual distinction, you can also clear them and opt to have just the white background. But it is a nice key way to understanding, hey, I'm on a student profile or I'm on some other profile. And then this is the folks that asked how to configure the metadata. That is right here. So I can click the add metadata and select my field. So maybe I'll do date of birth, and then I can come in and optionally select an icon. I say always use an icon. I think it's better for the users to see and understand and just consume that information a little bit easier. So select one of the icons from the menu and hit save. And now that piece of metadata will be displayed there. Similarly, the calls to action, we can add a custom label. So no matter what you want, whatever you want it to be, and you can pick from one of the calls to action here. Right now, phone calls will enable a web dialer. So if you have a Mac, it'll actually try to open FaceTime. Email will pull in your email client, and conversations is the one we demonstrated earlier. So we'll add that. And now our header is updated. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this for now, and we'll come over to Tommy and we'll see those changes displayed if all goes according to plan, which it does not appear as though it did. Live animals in the demo, folks. That's the wrong one. Oh, because it's not active, of course. So let's activate that and we'll refresh. And now we get his date of birth here as part of his metadata and the extra pieces we put. So that's as easy as it is to add metadata. Coming in, I can also at any time preview it right within. I don't have to go over. So I can preview this as Han, or I can preview this as Tommy's record. Do know that this invokes an actual profile. So changes made in this view to student data do impact student data. And you can actually see some of the responsiveness here because this is inside a card where the calls to action have slid in underneath the metadata. So just you're able to do that or view it full screen. Similar to the sidebar, similar configurations in the sidebar where we can show or hide those assignees, the territory or the buttons. We can also add those groups. So we can come in and we're gonna have a theme here. We'll have our happy birthday group, and to that group, we'll just add the date of birth. And now we have a new group with one field. I can reorder it with kind of the drag and drop feature. So let's put that guy, again, I could preview this right here and see that happy birthday group has been deployed. Or of course, I could go over to Tommy's profile and view it as well. And then the main card group, or the main card display area. Here you can see the configure groups. Within the groups, you can come in and edit, and we can drag and drop these around. On this menu is where you change the width, 1 column, 2 column. You can collapse it to just the title. So there are a lot of options here and a lot of flexibility here to be able to make this display exactly the way that you would like to do it. A couple of tips or tricks, if you will, pro tips on card groups. If you notice here, and I'll turn card groups off, as soon as I add a card, like I can't add that card again. I can only add a card one time in either a single display area or within a group. I can, however, add the same card to more than one group. So if you see here in interactions, I have the applications card here in a single width. I also have it as part of that application data. So when I'm viewing all cards, we only render the cards once. So we'll take the first instance of that card, render it, and people can use it there. But when I do card groups, when I filter to the card groups here, is where I'd get, in this case, the application data leads the way there. So that's a kind of a nice way to be able to display the relevant information within a card group. Once you've got all that set, save, set it to active, and you've built your first Bolt profile template. And it is really as easy as that. So I think I've hit all of the big pressing issues with Bolt profiles, so we can answer some questions. The other thing that I will just note is that we do have updated help articles in the Help Center. So if you go to the Help Center here and search Bolt profile, you can find the people section, and the Bolt profile data is all updated. I've done several videos already embedded right in the help articles. So it's there. You can watch those. It's a little shorter than the webinar. We'll also have this webinar edited up and deployed out, and you'll get that recording. And of course, we can help you on live support as well. And thank you, Anna, for putting in the Bolt profile template article for me. Any questions, Anna? We've got a few minutes. We'd be happy to answer some questions.
There were some general comments that we addressed in the Q&A, so nothing to be answered live, but artists would like to know, what is your favorite card on the Bolt profile?
Artists would like to know my favorite card, would he? I would say, only because I have a soft spot for tasks, I would say the tasks card is my favorite. The task manager is great, and I was here when we built it the first time, but I think this gives you a really great experience to really focus in on the people. And we've actually got some cool things coming down the pike with tasks and its Boltification. So I think this is a great bridge from where we are with tasks to where we're going with tasks, and you get a little taste of it today. So
awesome. Thank you so much. We do have a new question. When will you force everyone to move to Bolt profiles?
Yeah.
So about timelines.
Yeah, it is currently in beta. I wouldn't use the term force. I would say released to all users, but we are looking to have this in beta through September, and in early October, release it to everyone. And again, our system templates will be the ones that are released. So we really encourage captains and administrators to take the time over the course of the next couple of weeks, maybe build some of their own, tweak the ones that we have, and maybe pick 3 or 4 people in your office that are your power users and get them to provide feedback. That feedback can come through live support. We will be continuing to do additional testing and additional polishing between then and now as well, and go from there. You've got about 5 weeks in Betaville, and then we'll be moving on.
Thank you so much. We do have one more. Can we see the insights card?
Yes, and I don't know if this anonymous attendee is Artist, because I think this is Artist's favorite card, or if this is one of the guys from our data team, but I should have highlighted this one because this is really cool. This is one of the ones that only comes in one configuration right now. It only comes in this 3-column wide piece, but the insights card allows us to bubble up some of those traits and insights that users have. So preferred email time, their engagement score, and their last touch point. But this heat map is also really cool as well. So you can see how engaged this person is over time. So if I hover over here, I can see, hey, on March 28th, there was a bunch of actions taken. If I click into this, I can see what those were. And obviously, the darker the square, the more activity is on there. I can filter this against all activity we took. So maybe we updated a profile, we sent a piece out. So these are ours actions or their actions. They clicked on something or they submitted their application. So this is a real good one. I suspect that Damien and the analytics team and the insights team will be building more of these to be able to be embedded in different ways right within the profiles as well.
Thank you. We've got one more. Are there already templates set up, or would we be starting from scratch for every new profile we build? So there will be new already default templates built in, and if you don't mind showing again where they are, please.
So if I'm in the template menu, the profile template menu here. I can come in here. My custom ones, my institutional ones are here. Below that, I've got the system templates. So these are the ones that are delivered. You should see these in your instance now. If you don't for some reason, please reach out on live support and we'll get that taken care of for you. So you can use any of these by clicking the three dots here on the right and duplicate. And again, that'll bring one up. Once you've created your own, you can do the same thing. So I've customized this training profile. If I want to use that as the starting point, so I can do a graduate profile or an international profile, I can do the same thing and duplicate one of my custom profiles as well.
Thank you. Can student ID be added as a metadata?
That is a great question. Let's see if we can answer it live. I don't know if identity is.
It would be ID.
Yeah, that is a great. If you're storing it in a custom field, the answer is yes. If it's being stored in identities, that is a great piece of feedback and something we can take back to the team. So thanks for that.
Thank you. And we have another one. Will all users be able to make templates, or is it only those with certain permissions?
It is only those with certain permissions, and that is a great question. So for those of you who can manage users, if I come in here to manage users and permission groups, I'll just pick one here. In one of these here under the records, administer profile templates, you'll need that permission setting set. So you'll have to have your element administrator provide that profile template permission. And at this point, the templates are global across your entire instance. So it's for admins and the captains to configure those for their institution. Okay, thanks so much for joining us today. A lot of attendees here today, so a lot of interest here. We're really excited to be able to do this and to get your feedback on this great feature. And I'm glad that this is what I get to do in the first month that I'm back at Element. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to Anna for being co-host today. And we'll see you for the next webinar. Thanks so much.